Fellow zookeepers, welcome back to Planet Zoo. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to build a basic habitat. Yes, I'm going to teach you how to build a basic habitat step by step and also teach you the key important things to know when building a basic habitat for your chosen animal. Without further ado, if you guys want to learn how to do so, follow me and let's have fun creating. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in franchise mode and I'm going to be teaching you guys the important things to know when building a basic habitat. First things first, I gotta show you four things that you need to do first before starting your habitat. You're gonna need to build, first of all, pathways. Pathways are important when building your zoo because they help guests navigate your zoo, of course. And 3 buildings that you're going to need to put up before starting your habitat are going to be a keeper hut, staff room, and a trading center. Trading center first and foremost, but first, let's place our pathways. Okay, not that way. All right, starting off, I like to start off the zoo by building odd-shaped paths just so that it's not so boring. So building it like that gives me so much joy because it's fun. You get to have fun. There's a lot of creativity that can happen in this game, so just let your creativity fly, people. That's what I've learned. So now that the staff path and regular path is built, we're going to be placing down our buildings. So the buildings, we're going to go to the facilities tab on the bottom over here, and we're going to go to turn off blueprints, of course, but then we're going to be going to the staff facilities over here, and then we're going to pick out our animal trade center, first and foremost. Then we're going to be clicking our keeper hut, and then our staff room. Staff room, very important for our guests. Our staff to rest when they don't have work to do. So now that we've got those buildings set up, we can now start working on our habitat. One thing I gotta show you guys is the Zoopedia. This Zoopedia is your best friend. It is your best friend in times when you need to know what to build and how to build your habitats for your animals. So the first animal we're gonna be doing in this example is going to be the aardvarks. So the aardvarks, if you click 2, which is only the requirement that they need, which you will see in the species data. But I will be getting into more in depth on this whole thing in a different video. But we need about 390 square meters for them. So we're going to start building our habitat. We're going to go to the barriers tab down below and then choose a fence to start building with. So I'm going to choose the logs. And I'm going to go with more rounded habitat for them because straight, in my opinion, is boring. Straight is boring and curved is very fun because it's basically just letting your creativity fly. And I definitely like to let my creativity fly in these games. We're going to grab a external path, staff path, to kind of run on the outside of this, because we're going to need to put in a habitat gate. A habitat gate will allow keepers to kind of go in and out. But what we want to do is make this habitat visible for guests. So we're going to have to go down to the barrier tab and click. So that's going to make it visible. And what we now need to do now is, of course, bring in our lovely aardvarks. So we're going to go down to the animal trading center. Down below, we're going to click on our aardvarks. So I'm going to see if I can find the aardvarks first. Where are ya? Like I only have 1 in here. That's weird. Alright, so that means we're going to have to purchase ourselves an aardvark. We're going to go down with Nuru over here. And then we're going to go with a male. And I'm not going to spend any conservation points for this example, so we're just gonna go with ZZ over here. For male and female, we got them locked and loaded. We are gonna be throwing them into this habitat, so throw them in. But what I did forget is actually staff. You need staff to put your animals in your zoo. So we're gonna go down to the zoo tab over here, click on that, go to staff, and grab ourselves 2 caretakers. Caretakers are going to get our animals inside the zoo, and a zookeeper. basically, to look after our animals. So we're going to get that sped up so that they can bring our aardvarks in here so we can start creating. Okay, so when creating a habitat for your animals, you need to keep in mind three things: terrain, environment, and enrichment. They are the three things that are going to help your animals to thrive in their habitats. So we're going to go ahead and click on our aardvark here, and then we're going to go to the terrain tool. You're going to see that the terrain, they're going to need more grass and more soil. They have too much long grass. Go to the terrain tab down below, click on painting, grab the grass, short grass. We're going to start plotting it around, and then we're going to grab some soil, start placing some soil around, and that's going to clear it enough for their terrain. Now, second of all, we're going to need to place a water feature for them. So we're going to go back up in the terrain tool, click sculpting, and then basically give them a little push down below. That will give them a pond. Sweet. Now we're going to move on to their environment. So the environment will need coverage. So this coverage bar up here will tell you how much they need, and also the ideal plant range will range continent of Africa and the biomes of the grassland and tropical. So what we need to do is go down to the nature tab down below here, get rid of blueprints, of course, and then we're going to go to the filters, go up to biome, click grassland and tropical, and then go to the continent and click Africa. So as you guys click those filters, the things up here will start highlighting. So now we got the plant selection for these animals. So I'm going to grab, the first things first is grab a tree. I like to start off with a tree because that will give them their shade. So I'm going for this Aleppo pine tree and then place that around. Then I'm also going to go for some bushes, which are these African daisies. I like the look of these African daisies because they just give such life to the zoo. So I'm going to place some down here, some up there, some right here, just in random spots, basically to give some life and some color, basically. So they don't need to be perfect. You don't need to place things perpendicular and straight for these animals. They don't care. Honestly, they do not care. So I'm going to place some big bird's nest ferns. That's going to do 3 of those, and we're up to 13%, just about halfway through our bar here. So now what I want to do is grab maybe some dry grass, plot some dry grass, not against it, but there you go, some dry grass there, some over here, and that's going to give us 18%, maybe some right over there. So that's about 20%. So we got 5% to spare for these little friends of ours. So I'm gonna go grab some Panacea flowers, some more Panacea, or maybe some red poppies. I like the look of the red poppies, so I'm gonna go with those. Place that basically all around there. Red poppy, love it. I love it. I love it. So that's about 23%. So now we got still a bit of room to maneuver some plants and such. So I'm going to go for a Skye Bola bush, which will be placed right at the back over here. A little too much for that. Boom. That is perfect. I love to see it. So now that their environment is perfect and that they don't need any more, I'm going to be placing some rocks. Some rocks are going to be very important for them to kind of run around and make the terrain look more natural. So I'm going to place this rock probably more in the ground for them to get up. Maybe place some more. I like placing rocks again because they look natural, and a natural environment is basically good because you're basically giving them their needs. And the environment that they come from has rocks there. So basically that's going to be 3 rocks right there for them to kind of thrive in. I love the look of that. Now we're going to be moving on to enrichment. Enrichment is very important for animals because without enrichment they can't thrive. So what we need to do now for enrichment is go down to the habitat tab down over here. And get rid of blueprints. We're going to go over to the filters. We're going to go over to species. and click Aardvark. So this is going to give us a list of all the enrichment items that we're going to need for the Aardvark. First of all, and first and foremost, we're going to go click and borrow. This is going to be their hard shelter. Throw that at the back over there. If you go to the terrain tab, the hard shelter is red, but if you unpause, bingo, all good for them. So now we're going to be looking at the food enrichment. So you're going to have to go down to, again, in the habitat bar, and then click on the enrichment items. Click on the food tab, show you exactly what they need. Give them a forage box right over there, and then a barrel feeder. All right, and then now for toys, give them a rubbing pad, probably at the top of this rock over here. I'll look at that. And then a herb scent marker, probably randomly selected up there. Now that's going to cover their enrichment in an entirety. And that, my friends, is how to build a basic habitat. So again, key important things: terrain, environment, and enrichment. And then you can pretty much do anything that you really want to do. So we see our guests starting to pile up in here. And then in the next video, we're going to be working on guest needs and education. So without further ado, we're going to catch you guys in the next episode of Planet Zoo tutorial. See you guys then. Have fun creating.